Hi and welcome to 1 Week at a Time. My name's Brett Burden. I want to talk to you briefly about something that larger businesses do, much larger businesses do, corporations, that small to medium-sized enterprises don't tend to do anywhere near as much, but they should be. And now there's lots of things that larger businesses do that small businesses don't, but there's one in particular that I think is an absolute Monty, and you definitely need to be doing this. Now, before I do, just wanted to, this is something I'm sure you've probably already heard, but do you realise that 80% of businesses go out of business anywhere between their first and fifth year? Now, it's a damning statistic, and I don't certainly want to dwell on that. That's not the reason for 1 Week at a Time this week. It's more about why this happens. And the funny thing about this, well, not so funny, I guess, is that it's not because of a lack of business sometimes that people go, the businesses close. It can also be because of too much business, because the business is too successful and it's growing too quickly. And the point about that is, if you want to have 25% growth in your business over the next year or next 2 or 3 years, you have got to be able to somehow fund that growth. You're going to have more material costs, you're going to have more subcontractor costs, potentially, more production costs. So whatever it is, you're going to need to be able to fund that for a period of time. So the idea, one of the things that large businesses do is that they go and get themselves an overdraft or a facility of some type. It doesn't have to be an overdraft. See, when I talk to small business owners, you mention the word overdraft and it's like a dirty word. It's yuck. And that's insane, because you can't have the growth that you need. You very rarely can a business organically be able to grow and fund the growth. And the problem that happens with a lot of small business, when I say small business, anything up to say $10, $15 million type businesses, the thing that they, don't realize is when you actually need the money, that's the hardest time to get it. The banks aren't going to give you money when you're strapped for cash. And what causes you to be in that position is not necessarily your own fault. It's simply because maybe some of the projects that you've got lined up and you've looked at your cash flow and everything looks right. All that has to happen is one of those projects doesn't go ahead on time, for example. It's delayed a month, and all of a sudden that throws everything out. Not necessarily your fault, but it doesn't matter. If you haven't got the cash there to be able to fund that debt, whilst you get onto that project, then you're still going to be possibly a statistic. So therefore, when your business is running well and quite healthy and you don't need the facility, that's when you need to go and get it. And that's the thing that larger businesses understand and do, and smaller businesses don't. So I want to get you to have a look at your own business and how you're set up at the moment, and ensure that you have some type of facility able to fund that growth. Overdraft is not a dirty word. It is extremely necessary. So for growing businesses, that is. So have a look at your own situation and make sure you get onto that one. Anyway, have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.